The next day, "O great king, we received a response from the high priest of Brian." Turan handed Lucina a reply letter. The letter had a sun-colored stamp. I thought he was ignoring us, and that S, why he hasn't responded to us yet. "Can I open it now?" "Of course." Lucina took out the contents of the sunray from her hand. "I apologize for my late reply, but soon I will visit the Tayar kingdom." As soon as Lucina finished reading, Lucina stopped breathing for a moment. "Hakan! The high priest will visit the Tayar." Hakan read several times the letter announcing the arrival of the emperor, just wondering if Lucina saw something wrong. At that time, Lucina and Hakan looked at each other. "He'll come and lend us some of his holy power, won't he?" "Yes, it will arrive in a few days." It is a surprise visit, but he did not write words of acceptance or rejection, and there did not seem to be any kind of interaction with us. "I hope that the visit is a good sign," as Lucina said. A few days later, the Turan army took the lead, and the temple knights followed, escorting the Holy Emperor. When I left Tayar, I cursed Hakan. I thought it was an empty hope. Moreover, since the Holy Emperor was over 80 years old and had difficulty moving, there was a high probability that he would refuse. But now that the Holy Emperor himself was moving was a miracle, like snow falling on the hot land of Tayar. "We need to rest a bit before I go on." Turan stopped his troops. It took about half a day to reach the Tayar border, and I also needed some rest before I could ride. "The horses are tired, so we'll need a rest period of a few hours. Moreover, wasn't the Holy Emperor an old man over 80 years old?" "I understand." The knights headed to where the carriage the Holy Emperor was riding, Lord of Brian. Soon the carriage door opened, and the person inside came out. "They say we will rest for a few hours and then depart again." "Yes, okay." Even when I first saw him, I thought he was a man over 80 years old. As the rumors went, Turan thought the greatest saint in the Cameroon church was an old man who was over 80 years old. But when Turan actually met her, she had blonde hair reminiscent of gold, a white face, piercing blue eyes, and beautiful features. "The scenery here is very beautiful." "The sight forced you to say so," Turan said. "I don't know if the king knows about this. I don't know if the king will be happy." For some reason, Turan felt that the appearance of the Holy Emperor would bring trouble, not what Hakan expected. "That's a little more to the left. Send the food to Titi, not me. Still smells like..." The palace was excited by the news that the Holy Emperor would come to Tayar. Titi is in charge of deciding on food and fruit for the banquet. That's good enough. Lucina is busy welcoming guests with her experienced maids. Lucina was busy preparing the banquet perfectly with her experienced servants without realizing Hakan was behind her. "Lucina?" Hakan hugged Lucina from behind and smiled broadly. Lucina turned away, blushing. "Hakan! You are now like the rightful queen of Tayar." Since Garrett had been in charge of the palace's internal affairs for a long time, I was worried whether Lucina would do well, but I was both happy and surprised to see that she had surprisingly prepared the banquet perfectly. "You did a great job preparing even without Adar's help. It's all thanks to Adar Nim for teaching me so good." By the way, Hakan looked at the waiter who was decorating the banquet. "We were supposed to use those decorations at our wedding. Why is it placed now?" "Some time ago." "Impossible. Why did you do that?" "Will you use the decorations we bought for our wedding, just to receive the high priest? But we don't have anything else prepared since our visit was suddenly scheduled." "I bought them for you, Lucina." "Absolutely not."
If the Emperor is going to hand over the artifact to Tayar, we have to welcome him grandly. I can't give in either. Lucina, who is like a small white cat, is not at all afraid of Hakan, who is like a violent Black Panther cat. Sigh. "I can't beat you, Lucina. Do as you please." Hakan sighed and could only compromise. Lucina looked at Håkon gratefully, then took Håkon's hand and gently calmed him. I promise to prepare the wedding much more splendidly than this welcome ceremony, Håkon. Lucina, I won't be wearing the dress that Håkon ordered for me, so don't be too disappointed. Håkon looked at Lucina and smiled affectionately. Oh, how can you be so sweet and beautiful? Then I'll just wait for the wedding day, Lucina. Håkon looked at Lucina and smiled broadly. Håkon, you're teasing me again. You clearly gave me permission. Håkon, who saw Lucina confused by his words, laughed happily at Lucina because she was adorable. But where is the gold you took from me? You said you needed it for work. Oh, that's… I gave them to the ladies in waiting. To the ladies in waiting? When Håkon asked why she did that, she answered that when there was an event at the palace, the people working there were very tired and unmotivated, so she needed a chance. If I reward people who work hard, I think they will all work hard. Besides, they will all be very tired, so it would be good to give them a reason. In addition, because there are certain people who work hard at everything, there are also many people who avoid attention and work half-heartedly. So if the concept is instilled that if you prepare an event well, it will be appreciated, they will work harder. Good job, Lucina. A horse doesn't run well just because you whip it, and most importantly, Lucina, you know how to cherish the ladies in waiting. Yes, just because you whip a horse doesn't mean it will run well. You will be a really good queen. Most importantly, I Chinese do not take being a servant or maid lightly. I quickly realized that increasing work efficiency through appropriate rewards and praise was a good thing. They're here, Turan Nim, no, the Emperor! As Håkon looked at the yard with satisfaction, Titi rushed over. No, it's the Knights Templar. Anyway, he's here, Titi said in a breathless tone. And he has arrived. It looks like it. I think this is the first time Lucina has seen Håkon nervous. In general, I don't tend to panic or be impatient. I'll go to meet him. Lucina, please take care of the banquet preparations. Okay. Of course, when he fought, he was terrifying, like a reaper from hell. This wouldn't be easy for him, as this was his first time meeting a holy emperor. Moreover, negotiating to obtain a sacred item from him was not an easy task. It's the first time I've seen Håkon nervous like that. Is it because the Grandmaster is such a great person? Lucina, who was watching Håkon's back, suddenly realized that he was getting more nervous and shaking. I can't believe the Grandmaster is coming to Tyar. What is the reason for a person who has been inactive for almost 20 years to suddenly come to Tyar? It couldn't have been just a letter that moved his heart. An 80-year-old man didn't need to come here in person. His Majesty is here! The Turan army in the lead and the temple knights who followed and escorted the Holy Emperor arrived at the Tyar kingdom. It's my pleasure to meet you, Your Eminence, the Grand Master. Håkon showed the utmost respect towards the arrival of the Holy Emperor. Thank you for accepting my sudden visit. Like Håkon, the Holy Emperor also showed great respect to Håkon. He must be over 80 years old. Is he using his divine power to keep himself young? I'm sure you were surprised when I said I would come and visit you in person. No, not at all. Not only were people surprised to see Shangwanji for the first time, but they were also stunned, including Håkon. I hope you will rest comfortably in Tyar. Not only did he have shining blonde hair and blue eyes, he was a young man who looked young, or rather, under his age. Yes, I am also looking forward to my time in Tyar. At that time, I met the Emperor's blue eyes head-on. She smiled gently at Håkon, and he responded by bowing his head slightly.